we're moving up. We also have in satellite, we do have people who are tied at 20K and 30K again. So anything could happen this time. And yeah, it's always important to have a game plan, like whether it's going up or down. You need to have a game plan, because if you don't have a game plan, then you're saying that if you don't have a plan, then your plan is to fail. We're moving up. We're moving up. We also have okay, so yeah, so I think we are live now, and yeah, share the results right now. To press the share result button, so you guys can see it. So yeah, so I'm also moving on to the schedule here. So for our schedule today, we're gonna have some quick rapid fire news shared by our community. It's very own long, aka altcoin Asian. And then afterwards, we're going to have some discussions on altcoin, about like how high could different altcoins go. And then afterwards, after doing our fundamental discussion on altcoins, and also on this round circle chat on altcoins, we're going to go into our charts, rapid fire chart analysis put on by our community mentor, Robert Paddock. And then after Robert's hangout, we do stick around. We do know that we have a lot of us joining us from the East Coast, so we do want to be respectful of everybody. So yeah, so with not much ado, we're going to start off with, before we start off, we want to make it clear that this gathering of people, we're just a bunch of hodlers here. We're just having a bunch of hodlers having our drinks, talking crypto. Nothing shared here should be considered as financial advice. And we are not financial professionals, and sometimes hard making a financial decision, like consult a financial advisor, or you're just doing it at your own risk. So remember to do your own due diligence and play it safe out there. Yeah, so start off, and we're going to have a news roundup with Christopher Walker, altcoin Asian. So Chris, I'm your host.
All right, yeah, let me see if I can share my screen. Give me one moment. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, I think everyone understands there's a lot of things happening right now. There's Bitcoin's at about, well, I'm in the wrong, it's 45,000 Canadian. Let's see, what is that? 37,000 USD. So, there's a lot of things have been happening recently, especially this week. And one of the major things that happened this week was layer 2 network for Arbitrum ships. So there's actually two major DeFi protocols that mentioned that they were launching on Arbitrum. So there was SushiSwap and Uniswap, both mentioning that they're going to be scaling with Arbitrum, right? So, this is really bullish for both Uniswap, SushiSwap, and Chainlink, right? Because Arbitrum, there is no coin for Arbitrum, the layer 2 rollup, Optimism rollup. It's based off of Chainlink nodes, but it's on the Ethereum protocol. So it's really, really great to see that, the mainnet beta went live. I think it was last Friday, right? So it's really good to see. And I think as we go into like summer, we're going to see a lot of like layer 2 scaling, kind of wars, right? You've already seen like Polygon go absolutely bananas, Arbitrum, and then Optimism supposedly is supposed to be coming in as well, but it got delayed, so that's why Uniswap and SushiSwap have decided to go with Arbitrum. So that's great to see. Something else that I thought was pretty cool was the Coinbase debit card now works with Apple Pay, right? So there's a debit card that Coinbase has, and basically what you can do is you can pay in crypto, right? So you can, for example, you could pay for, your coffee or what have you with a debit card from Coinbase, and you can earn, currently it's Stellar Lumens and Bitcoin, but I'm sure they'll increase that to be more than just those two cryptos. So that's pretty cool to see. And that this is the sort of stuff you want to see when we are heading towards mass adoption, right? So essentially integrating like Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, all these sorts of things, so that regular end users such as you and me and everyone else in this world can pay for their goods and services in crypto, right? That's just the first step. So that's great to see as well. And one of the things that was also really cool to see recently was the crypto mining booms in other areas, right? So, a lot of that FUD previously was mostly with regards to like China, banning Bitcoin mining, right? So a lot of those miners who have those equipment in China, a lot of it actually went to North America, is what I had heard. And there were a lot of tweets going out for people who were like selling mining equipment. And so you see a lot of these news heads coming out like this, for example, from Argentina, Venezuela, other places, where the utility electricity rate is super low. So people are just mining like crazy, right? And just before I got on this, I saw a tweet that had mentioned that one of the hydropower dams somewhere in Quebec, it's like only using a sixth of its energy, and just that dam alone apparently can just power the entire Bitcoin network, supposedly. So that dam is could just power the entire Bitcoin network. So that's pretty cool to see. I think it was like generating like 36 kilowatt tons per hour or something like that. I can't remember the exact stat, but that's pretty cool to see as well. So we're seeing a lot of the decentralization of the hash rate, and you can see it's starting to distribute across not just China as the main hash rate. It's distributing across all these other countries that can also mine Bitcoin for us, right? So that's great to see some decentralization in the hash rate there. PayPal as well, also planning to add crypto withdrawal feature, right? So previously you were able to buy some crypto and hold in the digital wallet, but you weren't able to actually withdraw it anywhere. So, I mean, being able to withdraw it, for example, to your MetaMask or wherever you want that to be for your third-party wallet, that's awesome to see that you can start to withdraw that cryptocurrency. So it's not just a buy and hold on PayPal. You can actually transfer that to wherever you need to go, transfer it to a third, like, for example, to pay someone else for a service or a good. So great to see that's being implemented, especially as PayPal is a giant in the payment in space, right? And we also have not just one country, but we have two countries recently that have unbanned Bitcoin. So both India's central bank and also Nigeria, up until a couple of weeks ago, recently was banning Bitcoin and all their cryptocurrencies. So that's both flipped the narrative. People are saying, oh, well, that's no longer valid. And it's kind of funny because you're seeing it exactly in the middle of a 50% correction. So what does that tell you? Well, people want cryptocurrency. People want Bitcoin to be able to hedge against inflation. So that's also great to see. The last thing I have for you is EIP 1559 for Ethereum. So that's supposed to go live in July. And essentially what EIP 1559 is, for those of you who don't know, is an upgrade to the Ethereum blockchain/network. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to make transaction fees more predictable, so more accurate especially during high congestion areas. In times when everyone's trying to transact on the network. Now, this doesn't mean that the fees are going to come down. It just makes sure that essentially that the true fee that you pay is going to be more accurate. For example, let's say you're supposed to pay like $20 in Ethereum fees, right? Well, a lot of the times during peak congestion, you'd be paying like $50, $100. So it would be closer to that $20 amount or whatever the true amount is. And we'll also start to see a lot of Ether get burned when we implement EIP 5519, because a portion of each transaction on Ethereum will get burnt, and not 100% of that will go to miners. So that means that there will be less supply, and the demand will be at the same or even increase. So that means in general that the price should increase, just according to supply and demand kind of economics. So that's basically everything I have I'd be more than happy to share all those links down in the chat below. But yeah, that's everything I got, Eddie.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. So that is Christopher from Altcoin Asian. He's always putting out great contents on a regular basis. So if you want to keep yourself up to date with what is happening in the altcoin space, you want to find the next 10x, 50x, 100x gem, right? Christopher's channel is the channel to look into, to follow. So yeah, do check it out. And then next up, I'm going to have so he's going to drop the links right now. So next up, we're going to just talk a bit about altcoins, because I think a lot of us are probably wondering, like in this so-called recovery stage, right? If we are assuming that Bitcoin is going to recover, it's going to continue to the moon, like people are probably wondering, like, which coin is going to have the best recovery? So I'm just going to launch a poll right now, or you can feel free to just vote on which of the list of 10 coins. Unfortunately, it's only 10 I'm allowed to put on this list. Otherwise, I would have a lot more to add. But yeah, which coins do you think would make the best recovery? Because we've seen like Matic making a nice recovery already. We've seen other tokens, they are like making good progress, right? And then we also noticing a lot of slow tokens too, tokens that haven't fully recovered yet. But if things work out, they may make spectacular recoveries, like tokens like BNB. I was on Twitter the other day, and I saw that someone was posting that if BNB makes a full recovery, that's an easy like 2x from there. Right, from the lows of like $350. I think they were $400 now. So there's a lot of opportunities right here, right? And the question is, which token are you getting in, right? Like and then and then of course Doge, right? Doge had like a 17% recovery the other day, so that's a good one too. So you don't want to forget that. As easy as it is for people to neglect Doge, to think that it was a joke token, they can still make waves. Like you may never know, like if Elon Musk decides to like pull another rabbit out of his hat, because he does that all the time. So let's quickly. Yeah, we all like those for sure. Right, and probably the other question, probably a lot of us may be curious about, is to see like how high could like different tokens go, right? How high, like if Bitcoin, if the current bull cycle is continuing on, like if we're not entering into a bear market, like how high could each of these tokens go? And I'm going to be showing a methodical way for everyone to. It's very easy to use that you can use to figure out like how high could each token go, and should like our assumptions are correct, how high, like what is the price you want to start taking profit at. So yeah, but before we go, we jump into that, I'm trying to see if a number of us maybe who are more active here may be interested in talking altcoins right now, because I know that a lot of us are probably like, we all have our own favorite coins. We're probably wondering like, what is the best tokens to go about? Yeah, so I know let's see, I think Daphne, I think you're okay to joining the panel. And then I know Will, our miner in the community, he could be you may be interested in sharing about his experience, because I think it's always important to have people from different stages, different parts of the crypto community to share their insights, because a lot of us may be like trading, right? Or we may be like farming, or we be mining, but we don't know what the other people in the other places are, right? So it's always interesting to hear from other like people, like how they are doing. So I'm not sure. See, it's Will. Will, are you available to join? Are you here? Are you? I'm going to unmute you first to see if you're able to chat. He's our miner in this room. Feel free to also comment here too in the chat too. Like you can feel free to unmute yourself. You don't have to be shy. To participate in this discussion, to see where things are. Because Okay, so well, it's too new as a miner to comment much, so no worries. But yeah, average cost of rake. That's a good question too. I'm not a miner myself. I'm curious to know too. I know that people are spending like $1,000 to $2,000 a mining rake, so that could be. Yeah, that's a good question. How to get GPUs? I mean, you can barely get anything now, and I think I think it was Nvidia or they came out with these new graphic cards that they nerf like deliberately so that miners could not like sweep them off for people. So yeah, so mining. So I guess you don't have much to say about mining. Well, we can yeah, we can also talk about a bit about trading later on too, especially for those who are into like long-term trading and such. I know that yeah, our community mentor Robert, he's going to be talking about trading, how to take positions, how to set like stop losses and such, which he does with Satoshi Saturdays. But and then let's see who else do we have. Daphne, is she available to comment? Or does she? No, no.
You're getting swatted. What in the world?
Oh, hey, Joe. So yeah, if you want to. Yeah, that's. I think that's. I think that's just a fake video, but let's. Yeah, so let's continue on with our next. With our main component, which is where we talk about how to calculate how high tokens could go, right? So feel free to just type in the comments on what are some of your favorite tokens, and I'm going to be showing you a neat table that I put together that can be used to determine like how high like different tokens could go to. So I'm going to pull up, show you guys how to. So someone just share ICX coin. So before we start, I'm going to be sharing this. I'm going to be sharing this right here. This Excel table we've been working on, right? So this table right here, it talks about how to calculate targets and such, right? And you can see I'm using market cap and market dominance right here, right? Total market cap versus total market dominance right here. And with this, we can determine how high like different tokens like has a chance of getting, right? Without putting a number of in there. So like let's make a list of all the we want to look into, right? So we have someone who share card ADA,
Cardano, Uniswap,
I see, right? Uniswap,
Telcoin. I see
yeah.
Kusama and Polkadot as well.
Yeah, so we're gonna share, like we're going to be showing you guys how I go about calculating. So just heads up, this is a method that I learned from Forrest from Tokenmetric. So you don't have to like by knowing this method, right? You don't have to like wait till other people like do their analysis. You can do it yourself, right? So that, and this is what we want people to do, right? We're not like the other channels out there where we just show you the numbers, where we don't tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it, teach you how to do it, so that you don't have to rely on these other channels. You don't have to pay these other channels. You don't have to like join some YouTubers shell channel, right? And like pay like $100, $500 a month just to like get like signal, pump and dump signal. So this is what we're all about. Like we're all about like educating people. We're all about like helping people become more sufficient and making their own decisions. So it's important in this space, right, to be making your own well-informed decisions, right, instead of doing something just because like BitBoy did something, right? And speaking of BitBoy, some of you may be aware that BitBoy he dumped like $2 million worth of altcoins at the worst point. But after he dumped, it started going up. So like, and this is like a lesson of why you don't want to dump. Like, you don't want to like follow just because like someone said, "Oh, I'm dumping a coin." You don't dump because they were dumping the worst point. And given that he has like a million people following him, a million people just got wrecked right there. Like for him, like, he may be like dumping a small, like for him, like he may have like a lot of money to go about. Like he may be making money from the dump itself too. Like given the fact that he shares his Binance referral codes and all these other like BitMEX referral codes and such. Right, when people dump, he gets a cut of the transaction, and that's something you don't know, you don't hear about. He's not gonna tell you about. He's gonna cry all over TV and think, "Oh yeah, I dumped a lot, I dumped at the end," but he's not telling you how much he made from all the transaction fees, commissions he made from the million people who were dumping alongside with him. So this is why, like, in this community, right, we're all about like becoming more informed, right, becoming more educated, becoming more equipped to make our own decisions instead of following people. So
it was the bottom signal.
yeah, so now we have a good list. We have a good list of tokens right here. I can see that people have been sharing this extensive list that we can work with. And polka dot. Someone did mention polka dot. Yep. And then Solana, Phantom, FTM, and Solana. Yeah, Phantom's an interesting one. Yeah, because Phantom Network is, some people is saying that going Phantom yield farming is like getting onto like Binance Smart Chain during the early days. Like you're getting like farms that's giving out like 400%, 1,000% like APR, and this is all because it's still new right now. Matic's is a good big one too. How could I forget Matic? Everybody's like farming on Matic right now. If you're not, you're missing out. So let's make this list right here. And I guess we can start with this list and then we can just add to it a bit later on. So let's make this list right here. So yeah, so let's start with these ones, and then eventually you guys will know how to like once you know how to do it, you guys can like go about to like CoinGecko and do this own research yourself, right? So let's start off. Let's start with someone mentioned ICX, right? I remember ICX from a while ago, but I don't icon, but they are no longer in the top 100. But we do have some information we could work with, which is the key thing we want to work with is the circulating supply and the market dominance, the coin dominance. If it is showing here, coin cap dominance 0.05, which is not really a lot, but we can still do something out of this, right? So from this, really straightforward. You just this Excel sheet right here, right? The key thing is you want to set up market dominance, right? Couple ranges of market dominance. As we notice on CoinGecko, right? ICX icon, this market dominance is about 0.05%. It's not really a lot. What I usually do is I try to give like an optimistic figure, right? So 0.075, around still small, round it up to 8, 0.1, and then you also have a pessimistic figure too, right? So 0.04, 0.03, and so on. Right, and then here you have to put in circulating supply, right? I know you may say, oh, which one to put, a circulating supply or total supply? Unless the token is like pumping out a lot of tokens and it's going to reach max supply, you just stick with what you have right now, maybe like round up to the next nice number, right? So maybe like 650 million, right? 650 million. And then from here, I think these are done. Nope. Actually, we do need to have these right here, but so yeah. And then so with this, we also go next up, we go over to market cap. the total market cap of crypto. So right now there are a couple debates out there about how high could like the whole crypto market cap go like within this bull market cycle, assuming that it is still going to be bull from here on, right? If it continue to be bull, like some people are saying the lowest is around like $3 trillion market cap. And then we have some who are saying that it could go up to like 5 trillion, and some who are like full of like hopium. Right? They are
10
suggesting
trillion easy.
we could be getting to like 10 trillion within this market cap, meaning like by the end of this market cycle, by the end of this year, maybe even next year, the whole crypto market cap could get to 10 trillion. And it's possible. I think it's possible. And some are even suggesting 20 trillion, but let's stick with some of the more conservative numbers, right? Because we can suggest, we can safely say 10 trillion, because when you look at here, like Bitcoin was barely at like 100 billion here, and went close to like it went like 9x up here, right? Up to here. So if we're looking at here and such, we could easily do like a 10. We could easily do like a up here, right? 1x. We could potentially do like a 10x, 9x, 10x up here, right? So
Ed, I just want to point out gold right now is 12 trillion.
gold.
So gold itself, all market cap of
Really?
gold, if we just match that, would be 12 trillion. So that's a competitive race it becomes at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if people in the gold space they decide to just like switch over to crypto, there's a huge chance that it's going to happen, right? And then we also have like a lot of institutional money. They are still sitting on the sidelines right now, right? And we're not just talking about like U.S. institution companies. We also have like companies in other parts of the country, right? And with how Chris mentioned that countries like India, they reversed the ban, right? There could be signs that like companies in India, they may want to start considering getting into crypto too. So anything is possible, and there's a lot of money out there, right? And even just this last week alone, there's also there are a number of like billionaires who are like ready to enter into crypto. So like 10 trillion is possible. I mean, if you look at it from an optimistic perspective, but if we were to stick with something that's more pessimistic, that's 3 and 5, right? So we type all this in, and right now, let's go back to where the price of Icon right now. My Icon is trading at $1.27, right? These are ETH. I believe these are ETH prices, because yes, these are ETH prices. So we're just gonna move these over here. So we're just gonna move these over. So like at the lowest, we are looking at like potentially like if things do go well, like it could go up to like go up to $8. But it's plausible to get up $8. Like if Bitcoin goes up and Icon can retain like its like 0.05 or 0.03% dominance, this is doable. It could go up to $8 right there.
Don't forget, Ed, that the Bitcoin doesn't have to go up for this to happen. It's market dominance of all cryptos combined. So Bitcoin can go to zero, and this will still happen if the market cap of this coin hit that dominance of 0.03 or 0.04 or 0.05.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just stuff with Icon itself, right? It's possible that if the bull run is not over, it could get up there. I mean, like a lot of crypto are recovering right now, and if Icon can pull like a major release, a major partnership, the chances of that happening is more likely. So let's go over to the next token. I think we spent too much time on ADA. I mean, a lot of people are having high hopes for ADA. I mean, I have high hopes for ADA as well too. I mean, especially with how their mainnet is launching very soon. I know they say, "Oh, mainnet launching," but it's really finally launching this summer, right?
Yeah, Alonzo's already live on the testnet. That has the smart contract capability. So that I think that went live sometime last week, I believe.
Yeah. So, and then so that's, and just ADA alone. Like you look at ADA alone, like they are like without a smart contract ecosystem, they are already like they were able to hit like top 3 at one point, like, and now they are like at top 5 right now. They are trending at about like $55 billion. Imagine what could happen if the smart contract kicks in and it's a hit, right? They could easily like double, triple, 4x, like just on the fundamentals alone, right? And when you add in like the speculator, when you add in like the FOMO community, the FOMO crowd, right? You could get much higher with that. So let's look at ADA numbers right here. All right, with ADA we have 32 like billion tokens right here. Right? I'm rounding it up to a nicer number, 35 million. There's more tokens, so that it's a more conservative like figure, right? And then you also look at if the total market cap sticks can get up to 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion. We're looking at ADA, right, ranging from like $1.71 to like 11.43. So, and this is with ADA at 3%, right? 3%. We're here right now. If ADA sticks where it is, it sticks within a 3% market dominance, and the whole market cap grows, we could go from like $2.57 to $8.57, right? If ADA grows in this market dominance, which it did for the last couple of weeks, I actually had to update this table because someone did point out when I shared this chart earlier this week, I was using the data from 2 weeks ago before Bitcoin, the whole crypto market like tanked. ADA was trending at about like had like a market cap dominance of about like 1 to 1.5%. So because of this dump, ADA actually grew a lot. So this is like these are the targets we're looking at, right? Looking at like somewhere from like under $2 to potentially $11, right? This is assuming that the bull market it continues on, right? If we still have the bull market, if it's continuing on, we can hit any of these targets, and ADA remains at these market dominance, we could get these. And yeah, so I'm actually very optimistic for ADA, and personally, I do feel that ADA they do have a good mission. They have a mission of like wanting to they want to bank the unbanked, right? How like I know some people were like they were put off when they saw like, oh, why is ADA spending time in Africa? They didn't care too much about the conference, but I think it's because of projects like these, because of initiatives like these, right? They are building a lot of trust. They are grinding the teeth. They are testing out, like they are doing like critical testing, right? With like a lot of people, they're building these partnerships that will only like give them more use and more application in the long run. So yeah, so I do have high hopes for ADA, and also given the fact that Charles Hawkinson from ADA. I mean, he was Vitalik. Like basically, he was a co-founder of Ethereum. He was Vitalik's right hand man. Right. I mean, the fact that he split up from Ethereum to start ADA, and it shows that he has a lot of vision, but his vision was way too big to pack it all into ETH, and that's why he started ADA. So I think if you are not in ADA, right, it may be something that's worth considering, right? Like more as like a backup plan in case if something happens to Ethereum, if ETH 2.0 doesn't take off, if ETH 2.0 keeps dragging on for another year or 2 or 3 or 4 years, right? At least you have like a backup plan. But this is just my personal opinion from a fundamental perspective. But
yeah, for sure. And I think ADA, as you said, Cardano is a really solid project with Charles. And just to put my 2 Satoshis in there. So there's about 150 projects waiting for Cardano to be finished so they can have all that like smart contract functionality. With the testnet just gaining smart contract functionality, it's roughly supposed to be August when like the full smart contract functionality comes out. So there's a lot of plays already out. For example, like Card Starter for IDOs, like Charlie 3 is the Oracle for Cardano, and then like Sunday Swap is going to be like essentially like the pancake swap of Cardano, so the main AMM or DEX. So there's a lot of plays that you can actually get into. Sunday Swap is not yet live, but CardStarter and like Ocam Finance, for example, and Charlie 3 are all live projects, live without smart contracts, that is. So yeah, I see Cardano going pretty far. I personally own some as well, just staking that for more Cardano.
You're muted.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, CardStarter. I've been actually spoke with one of the co-founders there. So I actually regretted not getting in, but he's very happy with how well it's going, and yeah, you mentioned about Sunday swap as well too, right? So yeah, that could be the next pancake swap, the next Uniswap, and if you are like looking for like if you have like this, I guess like coins, tokens that capital that you could put at risk, like farming on the Cardano platform could be a place to start. So yeah, and then yeah, so we can go on to the next token here now. So Uni, so Uni's an interesting one. Let's look at let's go to Uni here, because I know that I haven't looked into Uni for a while, but I know that they've been growing a lot. They've been getting really big in the last while, and I remember when they were like trading at about $5 a Uni token. Now they are like worth a lot. And imagine if you got like the Uni tokens like right when they did the airdrop. Like you would be really happy right now. I wish I got it. I wasn't even aware of like yield farming back then, but yeah, those who got it, they are like with 400 Uni tokens that were given for free at $28, $29. You were to look at like the highest point, they were trending at like $40, right? That's like 16K right there. Am I? Yeah, that's 16K. Yeah, 16K right there. Like you got 16K for free. Like and the only condition they had was like you just had to make one swap like on the platform, like anytime before September. So they were like very generous with the community, and yeah, let's take a look at some of the token metrics right here, right, and how we can plug it into our calculator. I think I did a calculation before. So the supply I use was about like 6 more. I guess it's a much more conservative number, and compared to I believe what is the current supply right now? 500. So this is more conservative. And then let's take a look at their market cap, like $14 billion, and their market dominance 0.81. So they did drop a bit since I last did the calculation, but we can still stick with this number. Because there are a lot of talks that once Ethereum 2.0 launches, a lot of people are going to come back to Ethereum again. At least this is what the Ethereum community would expect. And they expect that Uniswap will regain its top spot as the people's exchange within the DeFi space. So yeah, so let's stick with this I guess optimistic guess, and then I put out these numbers 0.5% all the way up to like 2%. And if everything goes well, right? If the whole crypto market cap gets to $10 trillion and Uniswap can keep 2%, it could go all the way up to like $333. Like basically, like you take this and you 10x that. Like Uniswap has a chance of 10xing. And then on the other hand, right? I mean, like if it drops, right? If it loses dominance, right, it could go down to like $83. Like if the market does really well, if Bitcoin does really well, every coin is going up, right? But Uni loses its dominance, we could be looking at $83, which is still a good thing, right? If the whole crypto market cap doesn't do that well, right? So at like 3 trillion, right? If Uni can gain in market dominance, we're looking at $100 right here, right? And the worst case scenario, if we peak at 3 trillion, right, uni doesn't make that much. We're looking at like where we are at right now. So so these are just 4 scenarios to be aware of, right, where it could go. And yeah, so until we know for sure that where the market is at, whether we are going to get out of this rut right now, or whether we can go into like bull market territory, anything is still up in the air. And so yeah, so I mean that's all. I mean, I don't really have any more to say about uni. I mean, they have been a bit slow, in my opinion, in the last couple.
Yeah, it's I think it's Binance and the Pancake Swap ate a lot of Uniswap's volume and transaction in TVL, because with the Ethereum gas fees being so high, in the previous weeks and the previous months, users wanted one thing, and that was one thing only. They wanted low transaction fees with a fast transactions, and that was Binance Smart Chain. So you saw Binance Smart Chain go from like $10 in like a year to, or even just like months. They went from like $10 or something to like 700, 500. And then you can see that, like, for example, Matic just flipped Binance Smart Chain in terms of transactions recently. So you can kind of see the transactions already coming back to Ethereum as all the roll-ups start to come into effect, for example, for Uniswap, for SushiSwap and Matic. So.
Okay, and then next, so and then next up, I'm going to pull the next one up.
They did have a competition, but they're still kind of the dominant one, are they not?
I have to take a look at all the exchanges total value locked to see, but yeah, I do expect you need to continue. They're not going to go down without a fight. Let's just say that. Even if the DeFi space gets very crowded with Cardano launching the swap with Polkadot, like having a swap, and then you also have like Solano and all these other guys they having a swap. But I think Uni will they're gonna like pull something out of the hat and will stick. And they're not going to go down with a fight. Let's just say that. I know that their competitor, SushiSwap, they are like innovating. They are like building partnerships with every other network out there. So like, I mean, at the end of the day, every swap, every token, they have to do their own thing to get ahead. Right? You can't just like keep doing like what others are doing. You have to.
Ed, I think it's time for another bold statement. I can't wait till we see the exchange of Uniswap tokens and exchanges. So one exchange where all the other exchanges are trading on, which is the dominant, Uniswap, SushiSwap.
Yeah.
I mean, Uniswap's going to get left in the dust if they don't innovate, right? Like if you see what SushiSwap's doing, like Uniswap, like what do they have? They have mostly swaps. And they do have the market dominance currently, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to hold the market dominance. If you look at what SushiSwap is doing, number one, they just implemented lending and borrowing. They also just started doing margin trading. They also just started their first IDO is starting as well, so they also have a launch pad, and yeah, they also have Polygon. Dual farms that you can earn sushi and Matic and ETH and all these other things. So it's pretty juicy.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it'll be called Swap, where you can swap.
Yeah, so the Matic one is an interesting one. How like personally, I feel that they are just like they're getting paid by Matic to bribe others to use the swap, which is
basically their incentives. Right, you have to essentially, it's competition, right? This competition is healthy because the person who innovates the most and can capture the most market dominance is the one who's going to win.
Yeah,
for sure, it's coming. It's like 2017 when we saw Bitcoin hitting 20 grand. I was actually saying it's going to go back down, but don't be surprised in 2018. There's going to be 5,000 different copycat coins, and 90% of them will be bogus. But we could have some kind of competition coming next in the lending space with the DeFi. So that's why we were saying a couple weeks ago, be careful with the DeFi, because we saw if the market goes down, you don't want to be doing DeFi during that time. Now it's really good.
Yeah. Speaking about sushi that we're talking about, I do feel that with all these developments they're doing, with all these new swaps, all these new I don't know what you call these, like annexes or what, right? How they're starting like colonies or like colony swaps like in other like chains. They haven't really moved that much. I mean, I think
You
they
just call them forks. Just call them forks also.
yeah, forks. Yeah, I guess forks or like branches, wherever. I don't know what, but like sushi, I think has ways. I mean, I think sushi has huge potential. Like I think before, like until like once people start using like the sushi like platform on all the sushi branches and on all these chains, right? I think that's when sushi will become big. And just for the fun of, yeah, do you want to say something? I'm just going to do a quick calculation.
Did you just call sushi the next Ethereum? Like how there's 80% of developers on Ethereum for the DeFi space?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that most of the developers there, because
not just developers of games and stuff, but on the lending space in particular.
Yeah. There's actually a question from Dave about Sushi Swap. He says that there was a vampire strategy for DEX's liquidity. Yeah, basically what happened was when Sushi Swap went live, they did like a really attractive incentive. Some people will call it a vampire attack. Basically, they incentivize people to come over to Sushi Swap from Uniswap. And that's a very common thing in the DEX community, just to be able to attract liquidity. One way that you can actually tell like which coins are undervalued in comparison to other coins is to just compare their analytics, right? So if you look at, for example, Uniswap and you look at SushiSwap, if you're looking at like, for example, the total value locked, you can see that SushiSwap's like ratio of like market cap to like how much assets they have locked. SushiSwap is much lower, which means it's more undervalued. So you see that 0.47 on the right side of Eddie's screen, and then the 0.68. Anything below 1 just basically means it's undervalued because the market cap isn't like the price of the coin isn't moving higher, even though the number of assets locked in the protocol is rising, right? In comparison to, for example, if you look at Uni, their numbers are over 1. It's like in multiples of 4 or 5, which means that Uniswap doesn't have as many assets locked in comparison to SushiSwap.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice that. I just noticed that CoinGecko is now listing a total value lock. So yeah, so Uni is at about $5 billion locked, and Uni has only they're actually pretty close right now, $4 billion, and yes, and Sushi is they are working with all these other like smart chains, right? Working with all these other smart chains to get the capital to overcome or to surpass Uni. So this is going to be interesting to see. Right, you have two giants, right? One giant that's like centralized only within Ethereum, and another one with a lot of branches everywhere. So we will have to see like who's going to win. So yeah, so I finally got the Sushi Swap numbers set up. So yeah, worst case scenario, we're looking at like $10 sushi, which is not too far from where we are at right now, right? And then better case scenario is we could do like a 10x from here. Best case scenario, right? If it goes to 10 trillion market cap, if sushi can grow the dominance, which I think it has a fair chance, given everything else sticks the same, right? If nobody else gains dominance and except for sushi, we could be looking at like $160 per sushi. So, and then of course everything else in the middle, and of course do your own due diligence. Right? I mean, anything could happen in this space, as I always say. So I think that's a nice detour we took to figure out on sushi. I don't think sushi was on our list, but next up we can do TEL token. I haven't looked too much to the TEL token, so I can't really comment too much on it. But from a token metrics perspective, we can take a quick peek at how high this token could go. So while I put this together, I'm like Chris, do you happen to know much about TAL token? Maybe you can fill everyone in if you do. Okay. Clint has his hands raised. Do you want to share? Do you know something about?
Oops, sorry.
I was saying I haven't really seen Telcoin. I've seen it, but I have not really looked into it all that much. Cryptos RS tends to talk about it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because yeah, I'm not into. Yeah, I haven't looked too much into TAL because it's not on Binance. So stuff for me to say. So yeah, do you want to share anything, Clint? Do you know something about TAL you could share? Or?
I'm sorry, not on this topic, Ed. I did have a question, but it's not really related to what we're talking about right now. Do you want me to wait or just simply just ask a simple question right now about a airdrop?
Yeah, feel free to ask about airdrop.
Okay. Am I live?
Yeah, you're live right now. So.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Clint from Vancouver. I have a question. I've been having a problem setting up my Ledger Live for the Spark token drop. It's an airdrop. I'm wondering if anybody here has accepted the Spark drop. It's a flare or a Spark airdrop. And I haven't heard any talk of XRP, and maybe this isn't really an XRP channel, but that's fine. I'm into all crypto. I'm just talking about one in particular here, because people who had XRP in their account as of last year and have 6 months about, they get a Spark or a Flare airdrop, but they have to set up their Ledger Live account with the device from the Ethereum network to accept the airdrop on the Ledger Live Ethereum extension.
Yeah, I don't think that ever went out to my knowledge. I was holding XRP at one point and then I dumped it.
Yeah. Well, it apparently some people, the drop started today for some people, but it is imminent. It started today, and then there's another 11 days that you can get organized with another wallet, but I'd like to use my Ledger Live. So I just, thought I'd just throw that out there. I don't want to take up a lot of time, but if there's anybody that could put their hand up or message me, or if anybody has information, I could talk to them about that later. That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, we can probably leave that for discussion a little bit later. But as far as I'm aware about for Spark, I do remember some people like holding on to XRP on their Binance account, and they were getting it. They're hoping that Binance will credit them with the Spark tokens, and then there were also some people I know. Another person they borrow a lot of XRP from a few like collateral loan places, right? So they took out I think like $50,000 worth of XRP, kept it on a ledger, and then the day after the airdrop returned that, right? So they pay maybe I don't know how much interest that they pay, like maybe like 0.5% interest or whatever, right? I mean, like for like a 1 day loan just for that snapshot, and they are like, that person is a huge like XRP fan, right? He's just gambling on the fact that the Flare token will be worth a lot. But I think he did talk about, he did share like a video. You can probably find it on YouTube. There's actually a few videos on YouTube on like how to set up a Ledger, because I'm thinking you have to go to a page and then I was watching the video.
Yeah.
You have to connect your Ledger wallet account, right? And then they'll ask you, do you have the address you want us to credit the credit?
Yeah.
Like put the
I think I've seen one of those videos. I'm stuck at this stage where I'm having trouble connecting my Ledger device to my Ledger Live XRP account. It's just some sort of connection error. It probably. But anyway, if nobody has a quick, simple answer, or has a quick, simple talk to me later about it, that's fine. I really don't want to take up a lot of time, Ed.
Yeah, we can save that for Q&A after our chat.
Okay.
So I finally got the calculations set up for the TEL token now. So So TEL token, we're looking at right now is trading at 3 pennies. Right, best case scenario, 10x right here, 33 cents. Right, if it can, market cap can go to 10 trillion. Lowest point, roughly the same, right? The only downside of this token is it's not on Binance, so you can't really get rid of it quickly. KuCoin, I mean, they're like, I mean, it's another like exchange you're gonna be like hodling this coin on, and I'm not sure whether Ledger, you can hold this coin on Ledger or not, or whether you can hold this coin on.
That's
you can hold
Matic,
it-
by the way. The on QuickSwap is Matic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, ETH. I was like, yeah, it's really Matic. So maybe you could hold it on on your MetaMask, on your MetaMask that's connected to a ledger on the Matic network. So that's the only thing, right? Because I'm a huge advocate for not keeping coins on the exchange, because exchanges could go down like anytime. Back in 2014, the biggest exchange in the world went down.
Oh god.
It got Mount Gox. Like everybody lost the money there, and it's 2021 right now. Those people are still waiting for the money. Right? So, like, I don't recommend people keeping money on an exchange. Like, if it goes down and under, you could lose everything.
Ed,
Right?
it's also
coins.
it's also good to point out, Ed, because when you mentioned best case scenario, that means realistically, because that was at a 0.2% market cap or dominance. Imagine if it actually hits 1%. That's 5 times bigger than that. But Ed's really conservative, and he realistically sees what is really doable. Don't forget, if you have a bag to hold crop coins just to see if you can hold it like a lottery ticket, it can also become 1 or 2 or 3 or 10% or even 50% dominance is possible. But yeah, realistically, 0.2 is in the realm of in this planet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
something else to
absolutely true. If you're getting listed more and more exchanges, that will actually help that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Dave, you mentioned that TEL is a payment coin. I quickly looked at it, and basically what it is it's a way for you to send money smarter. So it's basically instant low cost money transfers, like through your phone, right? So you'd be able to like send like it's basically like an e-transfer if you want to think about it like that in the most simplest way possible without a bank. Yeah, so that's basically what that is.
So it's like, PayPal, Venmo, or similar platform.
Without a bank, yeah. So it goes through the blockchain, the TEL blockchain, instead of using a bank, because we don't like banks, right?
Yeah. So let's look at next up. We have Doge right here. So Doge,
That's interesting mentioning banks, because we're watching closely when they get involved and what they get involved in and how and why.
Start Doge. I noticed this right here. I'm not going to say whether it's going to be true or not, but first observation. And this is what happens when you look at enough charts. Start seeing patterns, and you may suspect that could be a head and shoulder. If it starts coming down and breaks here, it could spell trouble for Doge hodlers. So
there was the first head and shoulders. It broke that neckline. So that was round 1 of head and shoulders. Typically follows by a round 2. So then what we do is we're just looking at this entire thing over here. Could be potentially the head. Then absolutely. Then this could be now easily, we have the shoulder forming, and this would be a new neckline over here.
yeah.
So that could spell huge trouble for whatever this is. Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin. So okay, so I think with that, I guess like detour taken care of. Let's take a quickly look at our calculations for this for Dogecoin.
And keep in mind,
yes.
That's also going to be intact, even if Doge goes up. Unless it makes an all-time high, then that right shoulder is still intact, potentially. So that formation doesn't rule out until they make an all-time, what was it, 70 cents? So it has to go to 71 or higher.
71. Yeah, I had to break this just to overcome that. So let's take a look at Doge, right? Best and worst case scenario. Before we jump into that, we're at 3.5%. You can see how fast crypto moves, right? This is 3% right here. 4%, 5%.
Go ahead and do 3%, 5%, and 10%, because with
We'll do
Elon Musk
10%?
backing it, I'm going to make an exception on this one and say we could see more dominance here, because there are talks even of outdoing Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, if Elon Musk continues to put his engineering team like behind it,
That's the only reason we're more aggressive on this market cap dominance here, 5% and 10%.
but yeah, like if Doge could eat up 10%, we're looking at $7 Doge. Worst case scenario, if it drops market dominance, I mean, I could even expect like, I actually do want to do like a much more biased drop. Instead of 1%, I want to say it dropped to 0.5% to where it used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're working with meme tokens, when you have like zero fundamentals, if Elon Musk decides to tell everyone, hey, it's a joke, right? And then say, oh, my new favorite coin is actually Cardano. I do feel that there's a chance he may say something about Cardano.
Or a coin named after a cat.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be true too. So anything could happen. So like worst case scenario, if it drops to like 0.5%, right? We're looking like it could drop to like 12 cents, right? Which I mean, if you bought a top, unfortunate, but if you hear this is like around like a 60-70% drop right here, right? But it could go up 20x.
Yeah, there was a comment in the chat here saying that yes, that is based off of the market cap, not on any particular time. So we are basing the assumption that crypto dominance in general will grow. That's why we have several different amounts, 3 trillion, 5 trillion, and 10 trillion. Basically, it's not saying that we think that crypto will go to one of those. I can almost speak for any of the other speakers probably if we say that we're all expecting it to go to the highest one and beyond eventually. It's only a matter of time. But we're just trying to see, it's your ability now to judge how long you think it'll take for all crypto in general to hit 3 trillion, to hit 5 trillion. The only thing we do know is that the smaller one is going to be first.
Yeah, and then we have Andrew who just said, like it's highly likely he will get bored of Doge. I think so too.
The funny thing about Doge is it's just like, a lot of places will actually take it as a form of currency. Like for example, like you can go to the NBA games.
Yeah.
You can in Canada you can actually go to KFC and pay with Dogecoin. I just want to buy some Dogecoin just so I can like see if the integration works. I don't care about like making money. I just want to see like if the integration actually works. You know what I mean?
Oh, it will. They will make it happen. We've been talking with Ed. He can recall years ago, we were saying, don't rule it out, because how we predicted in 2017 that there will be 5,000 altcoins in 2018, the one that is meant to be the joke of all gets that extra attention. And that's all you're competing for is attention at the stages. So we saw that, they can have the top 5 coins and then the last place coin ability to pay for a hamburger or hot dog at the stand. So definitely, we actually said that, what was it, last year? We said, don't rule it out. On these very calls we're on right now, it was just October or November last year. We were saying, don't rule it out, because people were actually making fun of Dogecoin when it was closer to like a penny. We said, actually, I have to disagree with everyone when I said it will have a chance to go up because the Kardashians may say something because they think it's cute. Or some girls will say, oh, I like it because it looks cool. And a lot of people, who doesn't like animals, right? So, it's definitely, the potential was always there. And then we reiterated that again on these calls just in January this year in 2021, when I said, don't rule out celebrities coming on board. We weren't even talking about all these different stores adopting it. But I actually saw one broker. I said to them, when are you going to have Dogecoin? They said, what the heck are you talking about? 3 months later, they offer Dogecoin, right? So, fast forward to today, we saw that it was 5 days later when we made that call here on these community Zoom sessions saying, don't rule out a celebrity coming on board. And we know what one celebrity means, more celebrities. So that was 5 days later, Elon Musk started tweeting about it this year. And we saw the coin go from below 5 cents all the way up to 70. And then on these very same calls, we were saying how it may be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. We actually streamed that live, showing Elon Musk and his mom talking when the price was crashing.
Yeah. I remember you were talking about it, and I think it's crazy how like it became true. And we've seen more and more celebrities talking about it. Ooh, just for a fun detour. And people
It's upset he didn't buy more.
yeah, I'm actually upset. I didn't even buy any at all. I actually
Me too.
I actually thought it was a joke. I was like, no, I'm gonna.
Now when I make bold predictions, he's like, okay, this is gonna be awkward, but let me see what he says.
Yeah, because I was trading like Warren Buffett, right? Value investing, only go for like value projects. But just for fun, let's take a look. Take a quick detour to Shiba Inu.
This one is good. Yeah.
Boom, another
I'm
one.
gonna be touching on Saturday a lot. So just a heads up.
Yeah, so this one's huge. I mean, I had this massive pump, right? And then Vitalik started dumping. Everybody started dumping. And it's at a massive discount. I can say this is like a massive discount, assuming that if it can get back up here. The chances of it getting up here is it's up for debate because now you have two dogs, right, in the ring, right? You don't. The question you want to have to ask yourself is whether crypto is big enough for two dogs to coexist.
Of course it is. Pepsi and Coca-Cola. The real question is,
which one's the bigger one?
Will people leave that ring and go over watching a different arena with two cats fighting?
True. He's got a point.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, I see there's a question in here. Kevin O'Leary hated on crypto. Now he loves it. The internet never forgets which dog wins, the one you feed.
Definitely. I'm going to be covering Shiba Inu on Saturday in depth. I'm going to be breaking it up into pieces to the point where I don't want to give a spoiler. You just have to be there on Saturday. But I did a nice analysis of it, breaking up into pieces and putting it back together to see what really is functioning behind that. And I'm just going to tell you, you do not want to miss that analysis of Shiba, because after that, you'll never look at it the same way again, guaranteed, after Saturday.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary, actually, you know what? He was on a podcast with Anthony Pompolino, aka Pomp, and so Kevin O'Leary he's created his own DeFi project. So basically, it's just going to be like yield farming and basically just a way for companies to make a yield on like their spare capital that they're not even using or is gaining like nothing, just sitting there in cash. So he's starting his own project, in case you guys didn't know.
Oh, this is interesting. I'm also looking at circulating supply. So yeah, I'm actually discovering more about like CoinGecko. Even just putting a mouse over the question mark and see like this is shows all the tokenomics out here, right? Right now they are showing that like this is the amount that was burnt. I believe this was a Vitalik stake. The founders gave Vitalik like half of the token count, and after he dumped a little, the whole market tanked. Well, at least the whole Shiba Inu coin token tanked, right? But he did make a point about how like anything could happen with a meme token, and he burnt the rest of his not burnt the rest, but he burnt a large amount. He gave a lot to the Indian COVID relief fund, but he still owns like almost 10% of the whole circulating supply. That means if Vitalik wants to make another statement, another point in the future.
Yeah, he made it loud and clear already. Someone just asked me privately in the chat saying, am I going to do an analysis for Shiba on Meetup? So we'll cover that at the end on how, when, and where those will be. But just know that the analysis will be giving you a clear answer to why Vitalik dumped it.
Yeah.
And I'll explain it in detail why. I don't know the guy, but I do know you'll see what I mean once you see all of the analysis and breaking up of the company and the leaders of the company, coin, and everything like that. So I'm going to be looking at multiple companies, and you're going to see why he maybe didn't want to support it. That's a hint.
Yeah, an interesting fact, at the peak of Shiba, with Vitalik owning 50% of it, Vitalik was actually worth $20 billion at the peak. And his Shiba stake was worth more than all the Ethereum he held. And when he dumped like 90% of his Shiba token, he actually dumped like 80 to 90% of his net worth. I think right now his net worth is only worth like $1 to $2 billion. He dumped like $18 billion down the toilet.
That's insane.
And yeah, it's insane, but at the same time, like he knows that he
Not
doesn't
not
need
if
that
you
much
understand why, because everything happens for a reason, and I have a good idea of what that reason might be. And sometimes, your reputation is more valuable than money.
Yeah, and that's what he's going for. Like he wants to build his own like net worth, his own reputation on his own work, not as a freeloader, right? On like someone else's project who happened to give him 50% as a marketing gimmick.
Let me ask you a question. What would happen, just hypothetically, if a certain coin that you backed went down the toilet completely, and what will that do to your other operation and projects and opportunities you're working on? It'll devalue them. So you got to keep that in mind too, that you're now associated with something that failed. Maybe.
All right. Okay. We're at about 8:17 right now on the West Coast. 9:17 on I guess Mountain, and I don't want to get run too late for our friends on the East Coast. So let's quickly zoom over to Kusama KSM. A great day for Kusama. Like last 24 hours, $300 to 470. Maybe I'll let Robert talk about later on doing his rapid fire, but let's quickly calculate how high this token could go. I don't think I have a Kusama one, so I may just use an older one. So KSM total supply, so that's around like let's go with 9 million. Not 99 million right here. 9 million tokens right here. And we're looking at about 0.24%.
Well, here's a good question from Andrew YC. So question, how do we account for coins like Doge and ETH that have no cap? Wouldn't this affect its long-term value?
Going to Doge and ETH that have no.
I can chime in on this one while Ed does the numbers. So absolutely. The reason why Ed said at the very beginning he's using circulating supply and not the maximum total supply is because that's how much money is skin in the game. Money speaks louder than words and promises and stories. It's great to have a story, but how much money people have already thrown at something that speaks louder. It screams louder. So you're now going to have to see if there is absolutely, that's a great question. You want to always check, is there a cap? What is the cap? Is it even 100 million coins? Is it 1 billion coins? Is it 4 quadrillion coins? That's a big difference. And you need to see for yourself, Ed, you may have to actually create a separate column for this that shows what percent of the max coin supply has already been used up so that you can quickly see beside this 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion market cap that we've already sold out 97% of the coins. So if you see the market cap is already at, say, 1 trillion and it's going to go to 3 trillion. Okay, the supply of all coins can double, but you've already sold out all your coins. It's going to be harder to double your market cap just based on solely how many of your own coins you've sold because you don't have any left to sell. Versus a coin that's only sold 10% of all their maximum supply. They only have 10% of the coins in circulation. That can easily double. They can triple, quadruple the amount of coins they sell because they have them for sale. So that's definitely something you can now judge in conjunction with what Ed has put together here, because we've been talking about this. It's very, very important. We were overlooking a month ago where we said we need to start showing people market caps and they're not ignoring them, because some coins can go to 1 penny and be the bigger than China's economy.
Yeah, so actually on the note of like max supply, circulating supply, and coins tokens with no cap. So for this calculation we're doing, right? So this is mostly like short to midterm. So meaning like 1 to 3 year calculation. So we're basing this on the current bull run, and for most of the tokens I'm working with, these are like tokens that either have been around for like a year or 2 year, like where like most of the minting's been done already. It's the amount of like new tokens coming out. It's not increasing. Like the token's not going to double the supply like in like a few months, right? And most of the tokens are out there already. It's growing at a steady pace, and this is why like I am comfortable with like rounding it up to the next nice number, right? This calculation, like if if we're looking at like something like 5 years, 10 years, then we may have to use like somewhere between like max supply and closer to the max supply. But yeah, with what I'm doing right now, we're just looking at shorter term, and I'm just taking this, rounding it up, and it's probably a good guesstimate of the supply that this token will have like by December, by March next year, right?
And Ed, a disclaimer: just because it says that's max supply doesn't guarantee it is. The issuer of the coin can still issue twice as many coins. You have to read the white paper.
You have to read the white paper. Yeah, sometimes they could fork. Or they have like a new implementation, and then they start minting more. Other times that you may have tokens that will start having deflationary measures, right? Ethereum, when ETH 2.0 comes out, right, they're going to start burning tokens to match a number of tokens that are being minted. So that is a huge that you could say is like a market cap right there. It's setting like an arbitrary, not arbitrary, but like it's
public and
a
private.
cap.
I've talked to some people, I'm not going to mention which coins, but I do know of some that have said that's the public total cap. And I said, for real, just between you and me, what's the real cap? He said, well, actually, yeah, there's a plan to do triple the amount of coins that they've said. So just so you know, there's a public total market cap, and then there's the actual total market cap that only the people that are in the know will actually know about those things. So just know that your white paper, that's what you got to read. Everything has to be disclosed there.
Yeah, I mean, this is some figures I have here, right? I haven't figured out should I use like 10% or 15%, but just looking at this, like if you divide it in half, right, and then you times this by 2, right, we're looking at about like $300 to like $5,000. So these are just possibility numbers. I'm assuming like we keep these numbers, right? So let's quickly. I don't want. Yeah, we are spending way too much time on some of these. I do want to go talk about some of the bigger tokens out there, like Polkadot, right? Which I think is another notable token I think we should discuss more on, and also just to know a bit about the fundamentals. I do know about like what is this token, right? Who are the people behind it? Why are people so excited about Polkadot, right? Just some trivia facts, right? Did you know that the founding team behind Polkadot, they also were a part of the Ethereum team as well too. So I think for this one, for Polkadot, there was some Gavin Woods, I believe. So that he was also a part of the top 5 guys behind Ethereum, and he split from Ethereum with another disagreement, just like Charles Hoskinson at ADA, and they are like taking their vision of implementing faster, addressing scalability issue that Ethereum is facing. They are putting it into the Polkadot ecosystem, and some people are even saying that if ETH 2.0 is doing, it's basically what Polkadot is doing. They're just copying them. So we're looking at the numbers here. The all-time high they've had was about like $50. They are trading at about $27. Circulating supply almost $1 billion right here. So let's take a look at DOT. I believe I have a calculation. I put down like $1 billion, right? Maybe even a bit more if I want, but yeah, market cap dominance 1.5. So they did drop the market cap.
And while Ed's talking about that, Polkadot is, they've just started releasing they just released in the last couple of weeks their parachain slots, right? So the entire capacity of Kusama and Polkadot is that Polkadot is like the actual live production chain, and the Kusama is just its little brother. It's like the test net of Polkadot. So all projects that want to deploy on Polkadot will first have to deploy on Kusama. And then once that's good and they win a parachain slot, they go over to the Polkadot ecosystem. And if you look at, like, for example, the economics for the total supply of Polkadot, you can see it's basically almost capped out. So generally that means, as you start to approach the maximum supply of coins, the price will start to appreciate faster because there's no more available coins. It's just like the same thing with Bitcoin, right? Once you hit 21 million Bitcoin, and there's 3 or 4 million that have been lost permanently, there is no more available Bitcoin. So it's scarce at that point, right? No one else can get new Bitcoin at that moment unless somehow you figure out a way to mint more Bitcoin. So, and that's correct. You do need KSM to participate in those auctions. Better to invest in parachain auctions or Kusama itself. Well, you can't invest. You can invest in the parachain auctions. Kusama will be like the test bed essentially, so it's always needed. Some of those, for example, those parachains may not do well. I know of 2 parachains that have won auctions. Akala Network and Fala Network, I believe, are the 2 that already won some parachain slots. I think there's some more. I don't own any at the moment, but yeah, that's just a little more about Polkadot and Kusama.
Oh, you're muted, Ed.
Yeah, thanks for sharing about this. I think this is a lot of things about the Polkadot space. Let's take a look at the numbers I got for Polkadot. So maybe I can even just move this down here so we do have the chart and everything too, right? So we're looking at, for Polkadot, right? We're looking at like somewhere between like $30 to $300. Given that it's close to $30, I think it's doable. I mean, like, if it grows, if it gains in popularity, especially once it launches, once all these parachains are like gaining traction. And I think I love the idea, like what Polkadot is doing, right? Instead of doing all the marketing, instead of doing all the growth, right, on their own, they have all these parachains, right, with dedicated teams, with like their own people doing like the heavy lifting of like bringing people on board. So I think Dot has a really good strategy for adoption right there. I mean,
speaking of growing, this is at 27 right now. It wasn't just a week ago. In fact, 4 days ago on our Saturday call, I had actually picked that out to be our number 1 pick on that entire call, looking at charts for an hour.
$19.
So it was at $19.23. I'll be playing that video back from 4 days ago in a moment, showing it was $19.23 when I picked it as my number 1 pick. And that's up 42% in 4 days. On that call, we had actually said it will go up 50% in 5 days, potentially, according to the chart.
Wow.
So that was bang on. It went up 10% in 1 day, 20% basically in 2 days. And then we're on pace to hit that by tomorrow, which will be the 5th day. So just so you know, when Ed said conservatively from $30 is the low end, it was just $19 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And the people that were on the Zoom, by the way, those that are watching live, or not they're watching live, but they're watching the recording, you want to be on these Zooms, because I had actually, after the recording, which we talked about Dot, I showed more charts of Dot and some scanners and programs that I used to identify top coins, and they screamed the same signal as I did during our call. So we got double confirmation, my charting as well as the scanners. So we were like, okay, this is really looking good. We love that they're both saying the same thing, and you'll actually get to see that in a little bit. But you want to make sure you're on the calls. That's how you're going to be able to have your altcoins. We can bring them up in the chat, look at the charts. You definitely want to be on these calls. That's how we're going to be able to do the future giveaways and stuff like that. You don't want to be just watching the replays. You want to get the news while it's hot, because 4 days ago, you're too late.
True. Yeah, Robert, do you want to share the link to your Satoshi sessions in the chat, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So it's satoshisaturdays.live. I can show that up on the screen anytime, and basically.
Yeah, I mean, you can just share it on the chat right now, so people can register.
On the chat, sure. Yeah.
In case if people have to drop out,
for sure, yeah. So for those that are watching the replay, it's satoshisaturdays.live. That gets you into the calls. They're at noon PST time or 3 p.m. Eastern. satoshisaturdays.live. 12 noon PST, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's how you're going to get it straight into the room. You don't want to miss those charting analysis, because they're really hot. They teach you how to read the charts, how to analyze them yourself with confidence, become a consistent trader. And, these are so cool. You get the first part of the equation is the market dominance. The second part is the charting, the timing. It's like sniping when you want to enter and exit. And then you also have Christopher mentioning the news and also the different, fundamentals behind the coin.
All right, yeah. And then Yeah, and then next up we have Phantom token. Phantom token is an interesting one because they have a lot of partnerships built up. They've been around for, I believe they've been around for a while, and they have a lot of like their focus is on building smart cities. So they have a lot of partnerships with different governments, whether these are like whether these are with like healthcare, these are with like traffic or different departments. So they have all these partnerships with different governments, and they are carving out their own niche. And it was pretty recently when somebody realized that, hey, what Phantom token, their Phantom smart chain is actually very similar. In fact, it's basically a fork of the Ethereum smart chain. So you have all these people taking like Ethereum project, taking a Binance smart chain project, and they just copy and pasting it over to the Phantom network. And unlike Ethereum, unlike Binance Smart Chain, transactions on the Phantom network, it's around like it's like less than a penny. So whenever like you like interact with a smart contract, whether you deposit tokens, you do like a farm, you do whatever, right? Even you send like tether to other people, you're paying like less than a penny. And this is why like Phantom is picking up a lot of attention right now. Like the fact that like Phantom tokens are so cheap, and also given the fact that Tron network, they jacked up their prices for transactions. It's giving like Phantom network like I guess it's giving them like the spotlight to be like the DeFi network for people who don't have a lot of money. Because if you want to do yield farming on ETH, right, you want to do anything with liquidity farming, liquidity mining, and such, you are paying like $5, $10, $20 worth of transaction. Like once you do like 3 or 4 contracts, like smart contract interaction, just to like put like let's do like do your conversion steps, like you are already like $100 out of pocket on ETH. But with Phantom, it costs you like 3 or 4 pennies. So this is something to look into. If you have the time, you want to dig into like yield farming and liquidity farming. Right, Phantom could be a good place. Just like Matic as well too. And then the other benefit is this is a layer 1 platform, meaning you don't have to like get it through like you don't have to like get it through like the ETH network. So these are the figures for it. Right now, Phantom is trading at about 35 cents. We are looking at if it drops in market dominance, we could go down to 28 cents, which is not too much from where it was just yesterday. And then it could go all the way up to $3.70, a potential 10x right here. And yeah, and I'm not sure whether Chris has anything to add for the Phantom network.
Yeah, I'm not really so familiar with Phantom. There is a question about it. Dave Howell was saying, will ETH 2.0 erode Phantom's price advantage? Yeah, I'm not really sure too much about Phantom. I haven't really.
There's a lot of
what it is.
There's a lot of speculation for ETH 2.0. Like we don't even like with ETH 2.0 kicking off, right? We don't know like how low will transaction fees go, right? Right now Phantom transactions are less than a penny. If ETH 2.0 can get to less than a penny, then maybe we have there could be some competition. But until then, there will always be people who want to go to like. There know how some people go to like the Safeway, the fancy like supermarket, and those who go to like the dollar stores or stuff, right? They go to like the 99-cent store, right?
Yeah.
And Phantom is like the 99-cent store. It's for people who don't have a lot. They're willing to but they still want to farm, right? And this is the network they're going to. They're making like 40%, 50%, 80% annual returns with their $300 they are putting in, and I think it's going to be popular like in like a lot of developing countries. I remember back around September, right, there were a lot of people in developing countries. Like they did not have a lot of money to go around, but they were like on the Tron network. Like they were like yield farming. They were like playing on the DeFi casinos and so on, right? And some of them were making quite a lot on the Tron network until Tron jacked up the prices. But this is my opinion on Phantom.
And don't forget that you also have, you're absolutely right about the dollar store versus the supermarket that's more popular. And you don't have to have the supermarket go down to 99 cents for people to be competitive with the dollar store. Even if the supermarket's charging $5 and just goes down to $4, that might be enough reason for people to still choose the supermarket over the dollar store for
Yeah.
reasons of popularity, tradition, and just habit.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna quickly go over Solano. Right?
That's a tough one. It could be either or. We definitely know that probably the fees will go down because they're really high. But people, if they are not very happy, that could be a battle that's 50-50. You don't know that people say, screw this, I'm just going to go to the dollar store now.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people have jumped over to like Matic/Polygon, right? Because the Ethereum gas fees are so high. Like literally,
Yeah.
like I think it was like 2 weeks ago. At one point, I looked at the Ethereum gas fees, and it was literally over 1,000 for a fast transaction, and I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, I thought my computer was broken when I
me
tried
too.
it. I tested a
Exactly.
trade. I actually opened up because I've been testing out all the different brokers that are out there for trading. And I funded an account with $200 just to test how I can trade from my wallet onto a blockchain that you can trade. It's not even a broker, it's a blockchain. And you send the funds with gas fees, you trade, and it sends it back after every trade, even a 60-second trade. And you're talking about $100 trying to make, $60, $70. And either $100 goes to 170 or you lose money. But then the transaction itself, it said would be $260.
Yep.
So I'm glad I didn't fund the account with enough money, or it just said, sorry, you can't do it.
Yeah, your best bet if you see that high of a gas fee and like you're not trading with like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, like with your one transaction, there's literally no point for you to make that transaction if you're going to lose money in Ether, more value than what you're going to gain on whatever you're swapping, right? Plus you have to pay tax. So you better make sure that whenever you're swapping, if there's a really high gas fee, honestly, your best bet is probably just to not trade that day.
Or trade directly through the,
Or that, yeah.
loading the money directly to where it's going. So then there
Yeah.
are no gas fees.
You could buy like directly on like a centralized exchange like Coinbase or like Binance or wherever that may be. Like you'll pay like a smaller fee than in comparison if you were to swap like directly on Ethereum. So
don't forget, there's also two ways to trade: on the chain and off the chain. So on the chain, you incur gas fees every single transaction. You own the actual coin. But just like you don't own the silver when you have a silver ETF, you can actually trade the paper price of certain assets, contracts for difference. You can get actually even more leverage that way than what you can on the chain, which is usually 1 to 5 times your money. You can go as high as 100 times your money off the chain, and you can actually then incur 0 gas fees. I can buy and sell Ethereum 100 times without incurring a single gas fee at all. It's only to fund the account initially when I'm trading, and then to withdraw my money out of that trading account. It's only 2 transactions, 2 gas fees, but I did maybe 1,000 transactions inside the trading account.
Okay, so I'm just going to do one last token. Just Solano. We are out of time. I do want to give Robert like some time to do his rapid fires because we. So yeah, Solano. This is another big one too. I mean, like there's like a lot of project. As opposed to like Polkadot and such. Solano's main attraction is the fact that they are backed by Sam Bankman-Fried, right? So people call this a Sam coin, and if you have been following Sam Bankman, like every token he touched, like turned into gold. Like he was so successful that when SushiSwap was in trouble, like the original founder actually gave the SushiSwap password key, like the keys to Sam. So there's a lot of expectations for the Solano token. And you can imagine this guy, he's only like 28, almost 30, and he's like he has like billions of dollars already. So you can imagine he has a lot of money at his disposal. He's going to be building up his network. He doesn't want to be like missing out on the whole smart contract race, right? The whole DeFi race, right? So this is something you may want to look at. And the fact that he also owns FTX exchange, which is another exchange people use for leverage trading and such. So yeah, so I mean, right now they are at Solano is at number 17, and my figures for this is they could go from 30 $25, they could go, if everything goes well, they could easily 10x. But if the market dominance, if they lose half of market dominance, right, they could drop to like $25. So, and this is at like a $3 trillion cap, right? So this is something just to keep an eye out for. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to take up too much time, and I'm just gonna say this is our like altcoin like price prediction for the long run using fundamental token metrics figures. So yeah, so Robert, do you want to start rapid fire now? I think
let's do it. Rapid fire time. We need some sound effects for next time. But yeah, like definitely, we're gonna do some altcoins. Before we do, let's start with the disclaimer first. Anything we said so far today, as well as now, as well as in the future, no one, myself, Ed, or Christopher, or anyone else on this call is making themselves out to be a certified financial professional. You have to talk to a licensed professional before making any decisions. Don't hold anyone on this call liable for any decisions you make. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. We don't make any guarantees. We don't solicit any funds. We're not selling securities, and we're not giving advice. Okay, got it? Good. Now we're going to tell you what I see happening on the charts to help you teach from an educational perspective, from an entertainment purpose only, to see what is happening. And keep in mind, 5 minutes afterwards, after this call is done, things can change, right? So with that out of the way, we can go ahead. I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and let's go right into it. So what we can see is before we talk about the actual charts, just know there's a couple altcoins that have caught my attention. We do have a lot of community talking about NFTs, gaming, and artwork and coins. So please note that this is one that is kind of being got on my watch list, to the top of my watch list. Ecomi, OMI. This coin, it was at a penny almost. And it's actually dropped down to a fifth of a penny right now. So this may be worth it for those that have been talking about getting into NFTs, worth your attention to do your own due diligence and your own research. And what we can see here, if we look at last 7 days, it's dropped 20%, last 14 days, 20%, last 30 days, it's dropped 50% off. This is where you get the $50 t-shirt for $25 potentially. So if I pull out here to see the 30 days, you can actually see, let's go further out, 90 days and 180 days. You can actually see this had quite a pump here. It went up to as high as $1.31 almost. $1.30 was the peak. Okay, so right now, or sorry, 1 penny. Okay, this is 1 penny, 1.3 pennies. So right now at 0.2 pennies, you're able to potentially buy this 5 times cheaper than some people bought it at up here. Okay, so if you believe in the NFT space, I'm just saying this today because we may not have a chance before even Saturday to see this bounce. It looks like it's putting in a decent floor here. It's definitely worth, if not already, time to start doing some dollar cost averaging here. Perhaps if you're into the NFT space, this is worthy of your research and time invested into that. Another coin I want to mention, because this one will be too late by Saturday to mention, is Superbid, SUPERBID. Superbid currently at $10.77. Why? Because this coin is actually one where it has to do with influencers. We had actually talked about today when I mentioned that back in January, I said, do not rule out Dogecoin. Why? Because an influencer may post. I had used Kardashian as an example. 5 days later, Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin, went from sub 5 cents to just 3 months later, 70 cents. So here is an actual coin based upon influencers themselves openly. That's the whole plan, is to have influencers jumping on board using this coin to do auctions and paying for even interacting and talking with influencers. So this is something that is worth your attention. Why? Because actually you can see they're having quite a good team put together, and Logan Paul just got involved. Okay, so this is a guy that has millions of followers. He's fighting Mayweather, and this is something that is just 1 day ago happened. This post here. So this is something that I believe more and more influencers are going to jump on board. You can see 100 million followers on social media, has teamed up with the Superbid team. This is worthy mentioning if we're talking about how to select altcoins. Pay attention to what the loudest people are saying with the most followers. Here you can see the timeline. June 1st, literally yesterday, we had him jump on board. Okay, so I've been waiting till today to share this with you. Now, hopefully you can see why we don't want to just wait for once a week to stay on top of what's happening, because you may miss out on certain opportunities like this. You can actually see, full disclaimer, I don't have any position in this. I just wanted to point out to the community, this is also worthy of your attention, because it looks like they're doing some kind of countdown timer here for 3 days. Apparently there's a fight going on with Mayweather, and this is going to get a lot of attention. By 3 days from now, that's going to be our actually Satoshi Saturdays that we do, June 5th. 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's at satoshisaturdays.live. You can come in and check us out when I'm going to be doing personally an hour of research of charts. And by then, this may be already too late. So this is worth checking out. This coin could potentially see a bid. And where is it at right now? Here's the chart. Looking back at the last 14 days, this has been on a steady incline, and this is a good fundamental when you have influencers involved. Typically, the charts themselves, I would be scared to buy something that's already risen so much. However, this one, I will make an exception and believe it is justified, so that was worth mentioning. So as speaking of mentioning, I had mentioned also last Saturday, just 4 days ago, you see I was analyzing the .USD. I'm not going to play this right now, but I do have this on our community, on our Facebook group, where I upload all these videos. You can actually see us talking about DOT. Now, you want to make sure you're on these calls. I can't stress that enough. This was on Saturday, just 4 days ago, ended up being my #1 pick for the day that I had said, based on what I'm seeing, my favorite chart if I were to put money on it. Now, that doesn't mean you should put money on it. It means that I was going to put money on it. So this means that you can see here, the price was, this is .USD. You can see the price was $19.23 on that day, okay? On that was May 29th, okay? And this is what the daily candle chart looked like. If I just pull up that chart right now, this is it right here. Let's go to the daily candles again, and you can see what it looks like now. Okay, so compare this chart to the one in the video, and you can see we had a spike down, rose, spike down again, and I said I love this chart after we did an extensive analysis on it, and also I checked with a scanner to confirm my analysis that also screamed a #1 pick. During the call, while we were looking at it, when I looked at the scanner, it was after our live stream ended. So the people that were on the Zoom live, you want to attend these events, you're going to get extra value. You're going to be able to see what not everyone sees on the recording. So make sure you always attend those events. This is what you would have seen. You would have seen me put this green trade up in here, and you can see it did rise from 19.23 up to 27.78. Okay, this has been rising all this during this call, actually. Okay, so you can see, to give you perspective, let's have a look, because I had said on that day that I expected a 50% return in 5 days. Okay, that's what we had actually said on the call. So going from the current price of 27.82, if I go 27.82 minus the 19.23, that's a $8.59 jump on a $19.23 dollar coin. That's 44.66%. So I'm short about 5.5% left to hit my target. I had said $30 was my realistic target, and we still have 24 hours left. So there's a chance we may hit that. We'll see. But nonetheless, 45% in 4 days is not bad. That is good enough for you to be able to learn how to potentially, move your stop loss up to break even, so you can't lose on that trade, or even better, lock in a profit. So even if this falls, it'll close at a profit guaranteed, and then maybe keep this riding up. So I love that Ed and Chris love this coin, but I wasn't looking at it based on the fundamentals. We're looking at it strictly from, I have high hopes for projects too. Do I let it impact my decision making? I trade based on what I see, not based on what I want to happen. So this was just logical timing. Right there is when we had that call, and having a scanner that confirmed that for me is priceless. However, nonetheless, I do show people how they can get their hands on such tools if they attend the live Zooms. You definitely don't want to miss these calls. So make sure you're there on Saturday. If you need to find where that is, realize, because I do have a stock trading group with 133,000 members, but we just said, okay, we're going to do crypto trading only. And this group here If you make sure you're in here, you're not going to miss any of the events we're doing, including the one we're on right now. This was posted here to invite people to this call so that you can make sure you don't miss this wonderful panel of expert traders in crypto that have been in the space for a long time. They have a huge understanding. I love learning from them, taking notes also. But you're going to come in here and pay attention to the announcements so you don't miss a call. Make sure you don't forget to add yourself to this group. You can even invite your friends. And over here, we've got events. So if you click on events, you can actually see Satoshi Saturdays. We have the next one coming up. You just click on that and you can see here, this is the event. So you can see the next one is 12 p.m. To 1:30. This is Pacific time, of course. And you can definitely see that this is how you can get on. So take a picture of that right now quickly before we turn it off the screen. This is what you do not want to miss, because I'm going to have more than just 10 minutes to show you a few charts. We're going to actually go for an hour and look at them all. And this is rapid fire, like on steroids. So definitely Satoshi Saturdays, 12 p.m. noon Pacific. There's how you get into the room, satoshisaturdays.live. Don't miss it. Be there, and then you'll get a ton of value. Definitely. So let's look at that chart right now. Let's actually extend this to the right. So this is dot. We're just going to start with this. And just so you know, we are going to look at the market cap dominance, but let's stick with this one first. Extend the line right. Okay, as I expected, if I extend this channel that we drew on Saturday to the right, I'll even extend all of them. Extend right, and extend right. We can actually see, I don't know why I picked this color. It was probably for time's sake. But yeah, let's extend that one also. You can see we're actually approaching now the top of this channel. So there is caution to be advised here at this yellow line. I may actually move this target lower. Okay, so we can just say, you know, I'm happy with the profits. And what I'll do is I'll maybe adjust this down to this yellow line, not thinking it's going to be greedy to be expecting this to create go over that line. If it does, that opens up the door to more gains. And what I do want to say is this. The reason why we said it was our favorite call is we had this upside down head and shoulders formation. Okay, so what we ended up seeing was over here, this decline followed by this decline was a head, and then we had a shoulder, and we saw this neckline. All right, so as you can see, we talked about the fact that I believed this was it for the shoulder to start going to the neckline. As you see, it went to the neckline, struggled as it's supposed to along that neckline. It has broken above that. So this is actually still bullish. If we look here, the height of this head is the same height that we're expecting after the breakout. So we can actually see $30 may be too low. This shows $35, $36 as reasonable for this particular upside down or inverse or reverse head and shoulders. So we do have some struggle with this yellow line in the way, but nonetheless, this is something that you can see it does pay to be surrounding yourself with a room full of different traders that have experience, that have been doing this. I've been trading for 27 years. I did win first place in the world in a stock trading competition at the age of 21. So I know how to read different indicators. Right now, what are the indicators saying? This can come down. This RSI is elevated right now. It's at 74. That is quite high. That can easily come back down to 50. So don't get greedy. What you do want to do is if you're in that trade, you want to look at maybe cutting your loss to nothing. Okay, so now you have absolutely no way to lose money on that trade. If you want to be really smart, you can even lock in half your profit. And that way you can actually make money or make more. It's one of those two. So that's how we like to learn how to trade. Now let's have a look at some of the other coins real quick. But before we do, let's look at the market cap dominance. This is something we pay attention to, and we got to start paying attention to more, because we saw the market cap that we were talking about dominance was if Bitcoin drops, it may drag down all coins. But when it comes to the altcoin dominance, they could benefit if Bitcoin drops. Then they could take a bigger piece of the pie more easily away from Bitcoin. So what we're talking about is here on this coin market cap. I have one chart here I like, global charts. And the third chart, well, first of all, the total market cap. So you saw Ed talking about 3 trillion, 5 trillion, and 10 trillion potential market caps to see the potential of a coin. Let's look at what it's at right now, currently. Okay, so we can see here right now, the market cap, we're looking at about 1.7 trillion as we speak. Okay, so 3 trillion would be practically double from here. That's the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. we're looking at currently almost $1 trillion. We're just a hair shy, meaning 500 million. Let me see, 100,000 million billion. So we're about 4.15 billion away. Is that right? Yeah, 4.5 billion away from $1 trillion without Bitcoin. Okay, so here we go. We've been paying attention to this. We saw the first time we could have a flippening where Ethereum takes over from Bitcoin. Now we cannot even guarantee it will be Ethereum, but maybe Ethereum, maybe some other coin that flips eventually. But will it be now? Will this continue lower, or will it be a buy the dip story? We don't know until we watch it happen. So we update you every week on that. It looks like it's putting in a floor here, but nothing can be ruled out at this time. So pay attention to that. Now that we know that, we can look at the chart, Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, and we can see here that it's starting to make kind of a interesting. Okay, so what we have going on here, it's actually going up and back and forth 50%. So whatever it was to the peak, it came back halfway. Whatever it went down, let's draw it red, it came back up halfway. Whatever it came back up with, let's go back to black. This actually came back down halfway. So it's just kind of like creating this wedge shape. And so we could expect it's about to make a move, probably really soon here. Let me actually draw this clearer. So if I draw, let's put in a line. I want to see something there and there. So it looks like that might have already come out on top. So in this case, if this is true, we could see Ethereum regain over Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin can drop, Ethereum can go up, or Bitcoin can go up, Ethereum can go up even more, or Bitcoin can drop and Ethereum drops a little bit less. Okay, so it looks like Ethereum has a slight upper edge. It just smacked Bitcoin over the face. And while Bitcoin is trying to recover, Ethereum may gain some ground, especially with the 2.0 launch, which was coming. It's just a month basically away. That could be the final blow, meaning that this whole chart, Ethereum can continue higher. Then this chart goes up more. So Bitcoin, let's have a look what's going on here. We can see here. Let me refresh this. Okay, so we were talking about this one going up potentially. So yeah, same shape where we have a very bullish, basically here is a drop, here is the head, and here is the right shoulder. So what we have is the shoulder, the head, and the shoulder. So this is a nice shape that this is somewhat bullish, and we've just crossed that. In fact, it's so close, I need to draw a straight line to make sure. This could be good news. This could be something that we've been waiting for a long time. Oh, look at that. So we're right on the line of this neckline. Okay, so let me move this over. And let me change the color. Let's get rid of some of these lines first. Hold on 1 second. This is great news. This is happening live. Okay, so what we've got here is this shape of the downward, downward, and downward move. And now we're just connecting the neckline. So what we've got is from here to here. Okay, so that is where we're looking at. So we're just about to hit that line, the neckline, okay, on Bitcoin. We're going to see, will it reject or will it penetrate that line? If it can penetrate that line, we're going up. How far up? Well, we've drawn the target already, but just to give you an idea why it's there, it's probably because of this height of this head, which is the head and shoulders that's upside down, and that's my target right there. So definitely we're looking at what's the price. Let's have a look. That would make it around 47,000 for Bitcoin as the potential target, very realistically. Okay, so that's based on the head and shoulders that's upside down materializing. It has not been confirmed yet. It's not until after it crosses above the neckline that all the institutional money can say it's confirmed and the whales come in. Okay, that pushes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is a pattern that has existed for a long time. Right now, what do we see here? Neutral for the RSI, bullish for the stochastics, and I would say a little bit bullish for this MACD here. I can say that I have to favor the bull camp right now until Saturday when we do a more in-depth and thorough analysis. So I know it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to just skip ahead here and just look at, we looked at DOT. On that video that I had talked about, I had actually shown and drawn also XRP was the next one. So XRP, we ended up actually drawing a target to the upside. We had a triple trade. So this was the other one we liked, 1, 2, and 3. Just to give you an update, I'm just going to pull up XRP. Those were the two our favorite coins that right beside each other on this list. And as you can see, what did they do? They already hit the first target. They already hit the second target. It has not yet hit the third target, which we said on that video that the 2 would be very easy because of this resistance up here with this zone. So we are on track for that. Again, we like this for the same reason. We had this materializing, except that one is already starting to break above the neckline just shortly after our call, and it's already hit the first target and the second target. Those are exited now, those trades, and we're just staying in the third one to see if we can go all the way up to $1, maybe 35. We can move our stop loss right now to break even, so we can't lose money on that trade. And thank you very much. We enjoyed the party there. So Cardano, we can see here, same thing. Same shape. We've got the head and shoulders upside down right now. These are 1 hour candles. So we can see what's going on here. Gone down, gone up, gone down. We can see the neckline here. It has crossed above that, retested it, and now it's actually in a really good position right now. We have a potential to hit this height of this head all the way up to here, maybe $2.20. $2 is the psychological number though. So $2 is my first target. $2.20 is my second target. This is, again, not a financial advice. It's strictly education purposes only. And we can actually see here. Let's go back to quickly the 1-day chart. And let's have a look what we can see for Cardano here. Okay, so we can see this black line up here. Earlier, an example of that we can find also if we looked at, where is it? We can actually find it here. If we look at MKR, okay, here's an example. So you can see it bounced off of the trend line, When it finally broke through that line, it retested it and then crashed. So that's something that happened for Cardano. Actually, this coin looks like it's testing that again. It may start an uptrend again. So that's how we read that. Matic has gone through the roof. It's just gone back to the middle of this range here. So it's got some potential to go back up, but be careful with this one because it's risen so much already. But definitely you can see it does help to compare multiple coins together. We actually on Saturday will overlap several coins together. So that'll give us a good indication of, what's going on. Oh, wow, this is good. Okay, so this is what we got here going on. We can repeat that. Okay, so I can put in a trade here. Why? Because this one looks like even if it drops, it's got a good floor here with the stop loss right under that channel, or it may shoot up to the halfway line easily, if not further. So what is this? XLM looks like a good potential. It's actually worthy of putting in here at least one of these long positions. And we got the stop loss down here, profit all the way up to the top. Let's actually do it a twin trade and make a second one with the target just to the yellow line. Okay, so that's something where I could believe that could be a good trade. We could repeat this. We profited in the upward direction before. We profited in the downward direction before. So that's possible to repeat. Uniswap we did mention. And actually, believe it or not, there's actually some of these coins doing extremely well. You guys had actually mentioned one of them. It did extremely well. Let's have a look here. So it was KXTZ. Look at XTZ, okay? So this is important. You can see here, it hasn't gone up much, okay? But then there's the other one you guys were talking about that has. Okay, so let's see. XMR has gone up a little bit more. And then let's see here. STX hasn't gone up. MKR. Let me just see which one it was. XTZ. AVAX, AVE, all similar shape. Oh, this one's about to get out of this wedge again. VET, TRX, Atom. Looks like they're all starting to break out.
Yeah, it's because Bitcoin's kind of coming back, right? So
what I'm talking about is that, well, yeah, you got these channels here, right? And they're seeming to break out. Now, this one has already done it. So you can see this one you mentioned earlier is KSM. If I turn on a couple of the indicators, you can see it's got a nice bounce already. This one definitely is shot up, so it may be too late to ride that one. In fact, this is actually why I wanted to bring it up. It's a normal head and shoulders. This could be dangerous. So this could look like we could form a right shoulder here, or it goes up a little bit more and forms a bigger right shoulder. Nonetheless, it's a bearish signal. This will probably dump. So I'm getting ready to get out of this one. For now, it's a very bullish fresh cross on the MACD, but don't forget some bad news here. Looking at the peaks of these MACDs, if you connect the dots, it looks like this could actually fall down quite hard and quickly to the neckline at least, if not lower, and actually complete the head and shoulders. So to the neckline, I'll be surprised if we don't hit 200 for whatever this is, KSM. Okay, that's obviously ignoring the fundamentals. This is strictly just the financial technicals of the chart. Okay, so that's just a quick sample. I don't want to continue on too long because I ran out of time. But just know for next Saturday, don't want to miss it. You want to participate. There's the link. You can get an hour of research. I'll show you some of my secret weapons if you're on the actual Zoom itself, not watching the live stream or the recording. Make sure you're there, and you'll be glad you did. For myself, if you do want to get in touch with me, feel free to. It's robertpatyk.com, www.robertpatyk. It's robertpatyk.com. You can book an hour with me, no obligation. Just sit down and chat. Where's your trading at? Where can we get it to the next level? I do help mentor people how to trade and get them to the next step. So that's free to come chat with me. Spots are limited though, so it's first come, first serve. So go ahead, robertpatyk.com, book it right now. Come and chat with me and let's see where you're at. So definitely thank you for Ed letting me share this. Satoshi Saturday, this is so powerful when you guys are surrounding yourself with guys looking at the news, guys looking at the market caps and looking at the charts, especially the guys that have been doing it for a long time, getting the results you want and understand the market because they've been watching it for a while. So we call it how it is. We explain not just the direction, but how far down it will go, where it may pause, or how far up it may go, where it may pause along the way. So definitely very powerful. And yeah, thanks for letting me share. So absolutely, thank you guys for sticking around. You guys are warriors for being here all the way to the end. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the next call.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for rapid fire